Welcome to the Gadget Hovel Toddcast, where nerds nerd out like a bunch of nerdy nerds.
Hello! Hi! Welcome to the Gadget Hovel Toddcast. This is episode number... Let me look it up on my... This is episode 234. I don't know, whatever day it is, episode. I am your host. I am Todd A. Sullivan from www.gadgethovel.com, and where I draw a webcomic 5 days a week. I'm doing something exciting and new this time. This is a video episode of the Toddcast, and I'm going to go ahead and try to create an audio-only version as well. That will go up on iTunes and be on the website and be everywhere where you expect it to be. But also, I'm going to put this on YouTube as a video podcast. So if you're listening to this and you want to see the video, go to my website. And I'll have a link on the website as well. Or go to YouTube. If you go to YouTube and search for Gadget Hovel, I have a channel. I have a Gadget Hovel channel on YouTube, where mostly I have videos of me playing Kerbal Space Program. But also I'm going to have this episode of this podcast now. Now Matt and Carrie are busy. They're actually driving to Idaho this weekend to try to send some of the stuff that they're shipping up to Alaska. Their dad has some special deal with the place that he works where they can send some of the stuff at a discount or something if they drive the junk over to Idaho and put it on a trailer. So that's what they're doing. So they couldn't be on the show. And that was okay, because I've been wanting to try experimenting with a video podcast for a long time. And it's easier to do that alone than to try to... I tried once with Carrie to do a video thing using Google Hangouts. It kind of worked. I tried once to do it with Matt. It's easier to do it alone. Now, I missed last week's episode. It is weird doing video, by the way. I keep looking at myself on the screen, and it's like, I shouldn't do that. I should look up at the camera. I can't help but I can see myself, and you can see my ugly face as well, ladies and gentlemen. But doing the video podcast does give me an opportunity to show off my Jebediah. This is from, this is a character from Kerbal Space Program, of course, but Jebediah, this actual little figurine is from Shapeways. And anyway, if you go to Kerbal Space Program's website, they can help you get it. I think that's very cool, and you should do that. Anyway, yeah, the video is kind of throwing me off. Let me see here, though. You can see behind me the photos up there were pictures that my father took. He enjoyed photography. He took those photos. Oh, actually, yeah, okay, you can see one of the photos there. So yeah, he took, well, you can see two of the photos. He took those two photos, and he's passed away now, but he took those pictures. You can see the painting up on top. It's a painting my grandfather on my mom's side had done. He's also passed away now. So, art in one form or another, I guess, runs in my family. Also, dead center, that is the cover of Newsweek from 1969, the celebrating men walking on the moon. My mom gave that to me, framed and everything, for Christmas, my birthday or something a while ago. It was very nice of her. I love that, because I'm into space. And right underneath it, it's hard to... I don't want to take it down off the wall, but my mom embroidered the logo for Gadget Hovel on my website. So anyway, and it's beautiful, and it's wonderful, and that is really cool. Actually, because she embroidered that, I've thought about redoing the logo. But now that I have this version embroidered, I kind of don't want to change it, because Mom went to a lot of trouble, and that's very neat. Anyway, so I'm loving that this is video, because now I can invite you... I should look at the camera, not at my video. I can invite you, the audience, into my home, which is a very small apartment. This is basically it. It's all this. There's a tiny kitchen there, my bedroom, and a bathroom, and I'm not really going to show you any of that because it's boring. Oh, my sister made this for me. It's awesome. My sister's artistic. My mom also is artsy. She did the crochet or whatever. Anyway, she made the Gadget Hovel thing with needlepoint. I don't know what it is. Some artsy thing. And this is a WarHammer project My brother-in-law bought me these for Christmas, and it's taken me a long time to actually put it together. But it is, as you can see, all glued together, and it's fairly stable. And it's not falling apart. It was hard to glue it together so it wouldn't break apart when I picked it up. But anyway, it is stable, and you can see I've base coated it green, and it's going to be a bunker. I guess it's a bunker or a trench or a foxhole. Anyway, some kind of fortification. It's going to work fantastic with my Imperial Guard. But I've only done the easy part. Gluing it together and spray painting it green, that's the easy part. Look at all the detail in here. There's little skulls and rocks. And well, this thing is obviously a big fancy logo. I don't know how much detail I'm going to paint into this, but there's enough detail here to spend weeks just painting this. If I want to get super detailed, which I'm not sure that I do. I don't know how detailed I'm going to get with it, but it's going to look amazing on the tabletop with my Imperial Guard models inside of it. You know what else looks amazing is some WarHammer stuff that I've made just recently. Some control points. And now I can show you, thanks to the magic of video. So these are control points that I made. They have little flags on them, and each one is a different color. And the idea is we can play a WarHammer game. We can scatter these around the board randomly or find some way to distribute them, and we'll fight over them. Oh, and by the way, here's my entire Tau collection. I took them all out and set them all up here, and when they're all side by side like this, that's my newest one, my bomber, my flying unit. They look pretty impressive side by side. But so yeah, some of these control points have little armor to provide cover for them, so the little dudes, and there we go, there's little dudes standing behind the armored wall. And some of them are wide open, and some of them are like this with the cover, with the little walls. And I love this style of gameplay because we've only played one game, Capture the Relic, where we weren't just trying to slaughter everybody. And it was fun. It was a lot of fun, not just trying to kill everybody, but having a relic, having a thing on the board that we were fighting over and trying to control. So ever since that game of Capture the Relic, I've been thinking it would be fun to do control points. And we could use, there's lots of things we could use as control points, but I like to make terrain, and so I wanted to go in and make something specifically for it. So some of the control points are like this. It's just a flag on a piece of, open terrain. It's supposed to be like cement or something, and the flag has some dirt and there's crud all around it because it's like a war zone. But some of them are wide open like this, which is going to make controlling them very hard because you have to use infantry to control one of these control points. And with no cover, the infantry is going to be just out in the open, and they're going to be taking fire from people trying to take it over and being assaulted. And so they're going to be in a very vulnerable position. But I like that. I think that's going to be part of the challenge of those control points. But I've also made some control points, like this one here is the only one that has walls on all four sides. So and some of the others have like one wall or two walls on one side or two sides. And these it's still going to be difficult to hold these with nothing but infantry if somebody comes in with a tank or something. But at least you'll get a cover save if you're back here. And I imagine jumping over the wall would be a difficult terrain, so people will have a little bit of trouble getting over the wall and being able to actually assault you. But it's still pretty out in the open, and for infantry to hold on to even this with just a cover save is going to be a little challenging. I think it's going to be an awful lot of fun, and I can't wait to use these in an honest-to-goodness game. Now, the only game of Capture the Relic we've played is this. This is a very short video just showing the relic is that little bead underneath the Dark Eldar jet there. We role-played that the jet had crashed, and that relic represented some data or artifact on the jet that we were all fighting over. And those are my Imperial Guard units moving in to seize the relic, which I thought was a very cool scenario. So the neat thing about the relic was you could actually pick it up and move it with your infantry units, and that was a really cool idea. But that was actually that was a 3-player game with Robert's Tyranids, Enrique's Dark Eldar, and my Imperial Guard. So Enrique's Dark Eldar had the fighter that crashed, so they were just trying to recover it. My Imperial Guard, of course, we wanted to steal it to capture it for whatever its vital secret information or whatever it contained. And, Robert's Tyranids, they just saw a bunch of people to go eat, so whatever. But in that 3-player game, we didn't really get a chance to move it, because as soon as anybody picked it up, they got obliterated by the other 2 factions. And then someone else came in and picked it up, and then they got obliterated too. So, but it was a lot of fun. But I'm looking forward to having multiple different, because we all have very big armies at this point, and I think we could handle a game where there were, 3, 4, 5 different control points, and we'd have all these little battles going on all over the field for the different ones. I don't know how it'll actually play out, but I'd like to give it a try. Anyway, so that's my Imperial Guard. That's my big project. I just pretty much finished with the control points now, and then I've got the Imperial Guard trench behind me that needs to have a lot of detail work done. And then after that, after the trench is done, I don't know what I'm going to do next. So I'll just have to find some kind of Warhammer project to work on after the trench is done. Don't know what it'll be. Okay. So, let's see. Little Jebediah? Since I don't have Matt to ask, I'll ask Jebediah. Jebediah, do you think it's time to talk about video games? Yes, I do, Todd. Okay. Let's move on to the video game section. That should be fun, because I can actually show you video of some of the video games I've been playing this week. So, here we go.
Sam has 2 pair, the player has 3 of a kind. The player wins the hand.
Not bad, Spanky.
Ladies and gentlemen, do you want me to pop your bubbles so you can cross the victory line? Nope, that's okay. Success!
You could have got the last coin.
You're welcome. I have just won the level.
With our help, you're welcome.
Let's talk about video games.
So, first of all, I've been playing Rogue Legacy, which is an incredibly fun game. It's a roguelite, which is a game where when you die, you die. You don't just get to continue or go to your last save point or something. Like FTL was a roguelite, that sort of thing. And I guess a long time ago there must have been a game that was actually called Rogue, and where you died and you had to start all over, and all the others since then have been called roguelites or roguelikes. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know where the name comes from. But that's sort of what this is, where you have a character and you go into the dungeon and you fight monsters and you get treasure and you avoid traps. And it somewhere I saw it described as like Ghosts and Goblins for the modern age or whatever. And it has old-timey, old-fashioned looking graphics, and it's a 2D platformer, which is a game that I love. And so anyway, so you go in there and you run around, you fight monsters, whatever, and eventually you die, right? And your character is dead. But it's not really fair to say that you start all over, because after you die, you select a new character, which is supposedly one of the siblings of the first character that you played that died. So you select a new sibling to play through. Now, the dungeon does get re-randomized, so any progress you made the first time through, you lose, except if you get far enough in the game, you can unlock the engineer. And if you're willing to sacrifice some of your treasure, the engineer will make it so you don't reset the dungeon. The dungeon will stay the same as what you had just done. So you when you get far enough in the game, if you're willing to spend some money, the dungeon won't reset for your new character. And also, the main way that you level up in this game is by collecting money. There's not really experience points, it's all cash. So collecting gold is a big deal. Because when your character dies, your new character, your sibling, goes to, or gets to buy upgrades. You have a keep, a castle, which is basically just a way of, it's a series of talent trees. As you unlock things in the keep, you get to unlock bonuses for your characters. And that's really the main way that you level up. So when one character dies, and hopefully they collected an awful lot of money, then you go back to the main title screen and you select a new character of the 3 available options. And once you decide which of those characters you play, you go to the castle and you can spend the money that you made from the last adventure to unlock things. And the castle never your keep. You're exploring a castle and you're spending money between deaths on your keep. And the keep lets you buy bonuses. And after you go to the keep, then you walk past some friendly people outside of the castle. The engineer, who can lock the castle so it doesn't reset. Or there's an enchanter lady who will enchant your gear. And there's a blacksmith who will let you buy better gear. And the better gear you buy you never lose it. Every character you play gets the better gear that you've bought or gets the enchantments that you've bought. And every character that you play gets the upgrades that you purchased at the keep that you're building. So it's not really starting over from scratch every time. All of the bonuses and upgrades that you've earned carry on. They continue from, game to game, from character to character, whatever. So it's more like you're playing... Because, if you play long enough, eventually you'll get a lot of bonuses and a lot of upgrades and a lot of better gear, and you'll be pretty awesome. So it does feel like you make progress. Every time that my character dies, if I've made enough money to buy an upgrade, I feel like I did accomplish something. I did make some headway. In the long term, in the long run, my character has gotten stronger. So it's like a roguelite. And then it's not like a roguelike. And one of the things that I find is resetting the castle. Sometimes I will spend the extra money to lock the castle in. But that's mostly when I've found a particular room or something that I'm trying to beat because I think the reward is going to be awesome. I'll lock the castle on my next playthrough so that I can go directly to that room and try that challenge again. Otherwise, I usually just let it be different every single time because that way I get more loot. I get more treasure because they deduct like 30% of the money you make if you've locked the castle. So money is really important. But one of the fun things, one of the interesting things about this game is that the siblings that you play, when you die, and you start a new character, the characters that you have to choose from are not necessarily all 100%. Like, we have this idea, right, in fantasy that the hero is, blue-eyed, blonde-haired, big, strong, strapping, awesome character. This wonderful person who is heroic and looks heroic and acts heroic and everything. And you don't usually think of, or it could be a chick. Although usually if the hero is a woman, you tend to think of her as, beautiful and fit and strapping and everything, but for some reason wearing bikini instead of, full plate mail. But, that's because women need to stay agile. Women are a very dexterous, agile gender, and so women don't want to be wearing bulky armor because it'll slow them down. It'll slow down their reflexes, and women don't want that. So anyway, that's why women wear bikinis instead of full plate mail because of the dexterity. But in this game, your hero is not necessarily the ideal physical specimen. One of my favorite heroes heroic traits. One of my favorite traits that a hero can have is irritable bowel syndrome. It doesn't really affect their gameplay, but if you select a character that has irritable bowel syndrome, they'll fart randomly as they're going through the dungeon. And there's a little sound effect, and there's a little poof of brown smoke coming out of their butt. And it's just hilarious. It's very funny. And I love that, because you're dealing with a whole family of children and offspring and siblings. And, not all of them are going to be the genetic perfection, ideal perfection, whatever. Some of them are going to fart a lot. And I think that's good, because why do we have to cling to this old-fashioned stereotype that the only heroes are beautiful and tall and strong and all this stuff? Why can't a hero fart? Heroes can fart. Are you telling me Luke Skywalker didn't fart? When he was in Dagobah, I bet he was farting all over the place because he was exercising. And I tend to fart a little bit when I'm working out. But also, he's in a swamp. Nobody can even smell his farts. He can fart all he wants. It's not going to work. It's not going to smell worse than the swamp. So anyway, I love that you have heroes who are farting. You have heroes in this game who are nearsighted, which is actually represented by everything on the edge of the screen being blurry. Except for a circle around the character that's clear. Everything on the sides and top and up above and on the bottom, everything that's a little bit far away from the character actually gets blurry if they're nearsighted. And you can have farsighted characters, which I actually have a hard time playing the farsighted characters, because the character himself and an area near the character is fuzzy, is blurry, and only the outer edges are clear. And that always drives me crazy, because when I'm looking at the character, he's blurry on purpose, and it's like everything around him is blurry, and it kind of gives me a headache, so I try not to pick the far-sighted characters. Sorry, guys. But you have characters that suffer from giganticism, and so they're very big. You have characters that are scrawny and skinny. You have characters that only see in black and white, and so when you run through the dungeon with a character that's not colorblind, I guess is what they say. And in actuality, colorblind does not mean that you see everything in black and white, but that's how they represent it in the game. So if you play the game with a colorblind character, the whole screen is rendered in gray, or the whole game is rendered in grayscale. And I love that variety. And they have, every character there's different classes and different strengths and weaknesses. Most of the bad things are just kind of comical. The irritable bowel syndrome, or Tourette's, is a character who runs around and he just shouts profanities that are just exclamation marks and asterisks and stuff randomly. That doesn't affect your gameplay. It's just kind of funny. But they do have actual stats that are different too, strength and hit points and how much magic they have and classes and stuff. And that makes it a lot of fun to play through it over and over again with a different character every time. So anyway, Roguelite, Rogue Legacy, I should say. It's fantastic. It's on Steam. It's great. I've also finally made the plunge. I've been tempted to play EVE Online for years, and I finally went ahead and did it. I have an EVE Online account, and I'm a big newbie, but I'm having a blast. EVE Online is a perfect game for me because I love science fiction and spaceships and all that jazz, and that's what EVE Online is. It's an MMO, and I don't care for MMOs that much, but when I look at one of my many really cool, awesome-looking spaceships, and I get to fly out into the galaxy, I feel pretty good. So, there's a lot of different things you can do in the game, but one of the things that kind of appeals to me is mining, just mining asteroids. So I recently bought a very expensive ship called the Procurer. I think that's the name of the type of ship I bought, is a Procurer. It's a mining barge. It doesn't really have any weapons, or it doesn't have any slots for weapons. Well, no. Okay, it has one slot that is a turret slot that you could put a weapon in that slot, but then you can't mine because instead I've put a mining laser in that slot. Actually, a strip mining laser in that slot because it would be dumb not to. So the Procurer is the ship with a huge cargo hold and a slot for a strip mining laser. And it's really slow, as you would expect a giant mining ship with a huge cargo hold to be. But it is fantastic at one thing, at mining asteroids, once you eventually reach them. But once you do finally get out to where an asteroid is, with this giant space hulk, and actually I shouldn't even call it giant. There are spaceships in EVE Online that are gigantically much more huger than my Procurer. But it's the biggest ship that I've ever had in the game, so it makes me happy. Anyway, once you finally get to an asteroid, you fire up your strip mining laser, and it's weird. It shoots the asteroid with what looks like a laser beam. But I guess it's a mining laser beam. So actually, mining in the future is apparently not that bad. You just fly your spaceship out to an asteroid. You shoot a laser beam at it that cuts holes in the asteroid and also has a tractor beam to pull the stuff you're mining out of the rocks onto your spaceship. So you just kind of sit on board your ship. You probably have an iPad or maybe a 3DS. And you're playing video games and, drinking some coffee while you just let the mining laser / tractor beam device do all the work. So actually it doesn't seem that bad. But it can be a little bit boring, especially since the Procurer, it has a huge cargo hold. It means it takes a long time to fill it up. Now, the strip mining laser, as I understand it, is an incredibly fast mining laser, but it still takes a very long time. It takes a long time for it to complete a cycle, but then it gives you a lot of ore for the cycle. But it takes a long time. The thing about MMOs for me is that every MMO I've ever played has always been a very slow thing that takes a lot of time. So I tend to listen to podcasts. Or even put on an episode of Star Trek or something while I play an MMO. And oh my gosh, if you're out mining asteroids, you're going to want a podcast on in the background, or a TV show, or a movie, or something. And that totally works for me. I enjoy just going out there, finding some asteroids, hitting the mining button, and but you do have to stay at the computer. I've lost a couple Venture class mining ships, which are smaller and cheaper than the Procurer. They're what I was using to mine with until I could afford a Procurer. And to be perfectly fair, a buddy of mine, Boyd, actually, you guys would know Boyd. He's been on the D&D podcast, Adventures in Misanthropy, that I do. He's been gaming with us there. He gave me a ton of money. But anyway, before I got all that money, I was mining in a little tiny Venture. Because the Venture is just kind of the newbie mining ship. It has a bigger cargo hold for ore than a lot of other ships. But anyway, when I was mining, several times when I was mining with my Venture, I would get up while it was working on an asteroid and, go get a soda or something. And when I come back, my ship's been blown up. So you do, and it happened one time I was sitting right there, but I went to take a turn in some iPhone game. I look up, bam, my ship's being blown up. And I think I lost it then too. So you do have to pay attention. You have to be by the computer and pay attention. Plus the asteroids sometimes get depleted and stuff, and then you have to click on a new one or you're just floating out in space not doing anything. So you have to pay attention, but you can also totally have, an audiobook playing or a podcast playing in the background, and it'll work out just fine. Now, the thing about the Procurer, it doesn't have any slots for laser guns. It's only got one turret, and you want to use that for your mining turret. But it does have slots for drones, which is actually kind of cool. So if I'm out there mining in my Procurer and I do get attacked, at least if it's by something easy like just computer controlled, They call them rats for some reason. In EVE Online, computer-controlled bad guys that attack you in the asteroid fields are called rats instead of like mobs, or just bad guys like baddies, like I would call them in any other MMO. But anyway, so if some rats attack you, they're pretty easy. They're just little computer-controlled monsters to make, well, spaceship bad guys. But they're just there to make sure that, I guess, you don't go to the bathroom or go get a soda without some repercussions. So anyway, you launch your drones, and you tell the drones to go attack the bad guys, and the drones fly around them and do a pretty good job of blowing them up. And then after your drones have destroyed them, actually, I guess you can just leave the drones out all the time. But I usually deploy them when a bad guy comes, and then I suck them back into my cargo hold after I've destroyed them. But anyway, after you kill them, you go back to mining asteroids. So the Procure is not completely defenseless. The drones are cool. And maybe if you could afford better drones than what I have, they would be more effective. But my drones are really only good enough against the easiest computer-controlled bad guys. If a player decides to attack me in my Procure, all I can do is try to run away. Because my two little drones won't do anything against a player that's decided to become a pirate. But I haven't really had any trouble with that because I stay in the high security areas where there's computer-controlled police. So I haven't been the victim of a player-ran pirate attack yet. But here, for the people watching the video on YouTube, this is what a venture looks like. And I've had a couple of these, several of these, and gotten them blown up. And they're really cool, but they're just smaller cargo holds, and so they're just not as good at mining. If you're going to go out and mine asteroids, you want to be able to get a ton of ore all at once. So the Procure is better than the Venture. And I'm going to be really sad if my Procure gets blown up sometime, which it probably will at some point. You can buy insurance on the spaceships, though, and then when they get blown up, at least you do get some money back, depending on what kind of insurance policy you got. Now, I haven't been attacked, I haven't been hit by pirates or anything when I'm out mining. I haven't really done any player versus player, except I did try some PvP. Since I was recording, I went and I used the money that Boyd gave me. He gave me a ton of money, so I just went and bought a destroyer. I forget what it was called, but some kind of destroyer. And I bought some guns and bought some items, and I went out into the low sec, which is areas where they don't have police, so you can PvP to your heart's content, and the police aren't going to come and blow you up. In theory, these low sec areas have better ore. If you can come out here and mine asteroids, you get better ore that is more rare and worth a lot more money, and worth more money probably because it's harder to get, because there's people who will kill you while you're trying to mine it. And I haven't been brave enough to do that. I have never took my Procure or a Venture or anything into a low sec area because I don't want to get them blown up. But I did take this destroyer out into a low sec area, and sure enough, there were other players there flying some kind of ship designed for PvP. And I just targeted the closest one. If you're watching the video, this is the ship that I decided to attack. And this is clearly a player who is here for PvP. That is a ship designed for PvP, and he's just in the sector waiting for somebody to come mess with him. Oh, and those spheres of energy that you see are warp inhibitors. People apparently use warp inhibitors in PvP so that the people they're blowing up cannot retreat and run away. They have to stay there and fight and die. So anyway, yeah, I just found he was just waiting for somebody, and then when he saw me, he started to warp into the sector. He started coming towards me, and I set a course straight for him. And I never expected to win my first PvP encounter, but I thought it would be fun, and I might do some damage. I was sure I would at least do some damage. I'm going to have to show Boyd this, because I sent my drones at him, and I opened fire on him, and he opened fire on me, and I did not even hurt his shields before he just exploded the heck out of me. I was just getting close enough for my guns to start to do some damage, and my drones were attacking him, and I exploded, and he still had full shields, full health, full everything. And then I don't know what the etiquette is, but after you die, you go into a pod, and the pod, you fly home in the pod and get another ship. And your pod is where your actual character is inside. I don't know what the etiquette is, but this dude saw my escape pod, and he decided to blow it up too, leaving my dead body just floating cold and dead in space, which seems kind of rude. But, that's PvP. And so you do like respawn at the nearest star base, and they give you a free cheapest, weakest ship, and you can fly around and try to get home, and you're not completely screwed. So anyway, EVE Online, I'm having a lot of fun with it, mostly focusing on mining, but I'm going to keep trying the PvP because it seems like that could be fun if I could ever actually win something. So anyway, it's cool. I've also been playing Poker Night 2, which is a lot of fun.
If you'll all take your seats, we can get started. The buy-in, please. And now for your bounty challenge opportunity. Mr. Trap, please place your bounty item on the table.
Do I have to?
Yes.
What in the name of Dolly Madison is that?
That little thing? It's just my 2012 Spike Video Game Award for Character of the Year.
It looks familiar.
Is it valuable?
Are you kidding? Since I snagged this baby, I've been wined and dined by every mover and shaker in the entertainment industry.
I've always wondered what it would be like to move and or shake.
To claim the bounty, all you have to do is win the tournament.
So in Poker Night 2, you're playing a game of poker, which I guess is obvious enough. What's really fun about it, though, is that you're playing with Brock Sampson from the Venture Brothers cartoon, Claptrap from Borderlands and Borderlands 2, Ash Williams from Army of Darkness, and Sam from Sam and Max, the video game. And they have all these fun little bits of dialogue while you're playing with them. Oh, and GLaDOS from Portal 2 is the dealer. So they have all these fun little bits of dialogue and everything while you're playing the game. And they have tells, apparently. And so you can tell if they're bluffing and that kind of thing. I'm not really good at poker. I'm not a big poker person. And I was kind of hoping that, because I am good at video games, I was kind of hoping that if you turn poker into a video game, I might be able to be good at it. But no, a poker video game is more poker than it is video game. So I don't do great. But it's a lot of fun. Even if you lose all the dang time, it's worth it just to hear all the fun bits of dialogue and stuff that the characters have during and between hands.
Ah, spamwads! I forgot to turn off the pizza oven.
Spam wads?
I'm trying to come up with a viral catchphrase that'll spread across the internet like that stupid Ryan Gosling thing.
Yeah, but spam wads?
Check it. It's the same upside down as right side up.
Oh, look, kid, you can't just force a catchphrase. It's gotta come from the gut. I mean, look at Ash here. You think he spent hours coming up with Groovy or the whole Hail to the King thing?
Actually, I have this friend named Sam who...
The point I'm making is that a catchphrase has gotta be sincere. Those internet a-holes can spot a phony a mile away.
I guess you're right, Brock. Spamwads.
So I would recommend it. And, it's really cheap. It's like $5 or something. And I got it on sale for like $3 or $2.50 or something. So anyway, Poker Night 2, hilarious, fun. It seems like a good poker game also. Like, looks like it's got all of the cards that you have in poker. Well, you've got your 3 of the one with the 3 circles, and you've got the 4 of the one that looks like an upside down heart, and you've got the 9 of the red diamonds and everything. So it looks like they're all there. It looks like all that pokery stuff is there, and they've got chips, poker chips. So anyway, if you like poker games, if you like just funny conversation between Claptrap and Ashley Williams, yeah, you're going to enjoy it. I find it's a nice, relaxing game. Although mining asteroids is pretty relaxing too, unless you get attacked by a bunch of rats in a ship that has no laser guns. Then Poker Night 2 is very relaxing. Although there have been a few hands that have been pretty stressful. When I thought I might actually have a chance at winning, which doesn't happen all that often. But anyway, Poker Night 2. I would give it 2 thumbs up and 2 big toes up and 10 out of 10 and 5 stars and all that good stuff. It's a great game. You'll enjoy it.
Read 'em and weep. Seriously, your tears nourish me. Oh, yeah!
Claptrap has a pair of 10s, and our silent friend has a pair of 2s.
Wait a minute. Are we suddenly playing high-low here?
Negative.
Then why did Spanky McSucky cards even stay in the hand?
Claptrap wins.
It was secretly a ruse all along! I do know what I'm doing! Ha ha ha!
The player has been eliminated due to lack of funds and intelligence.
I've also played some of the Wii U Mario, the Super Mario for the Wii U, whatever you call it. I think it's just Super Mario Wii U. But it is a lot of fun. I played it over at Robert's, and I played it with him and his daughter. And we played multiplayer, obviously. We played all together. Now, I know the Wii U has not exactly been a huge success. And I don't understand that at all. Because when you get a game like Wii U Mario or the Nintendo Land games, and you play the multiplayer with other people, it's a ton of fun. And playing Mario Wii U. Okay, so Robert and Robert's daughter seem to think that I murdered them in Mario on purpose, and that's completely ridiculous. If I am at all at fault for their deaths, it's an accident. But they accuse me of killing them, of knocking them in the lava and stuff when I'm not even near their characters. Half the time, I don't think they even know which one I am. But anyway, their accusation, their belief that I was murdering them led to them sending me this little short video in the middle of the night. It's good to know that, first of all, I was playing Mario the whole evening. And second of all, I'm a good team player. I like to say things like, "Good teamwork, guys. Let's use teamwork." And then they say things like, "Yeah, teamwork would be not killing us, Todd." And I'm like, I'm not the one killing you. So anyway, they made this video. They sent it to me. I saw it when I woke up the next morning. And thanks to this actually being a video podcast this time, I can share the video with you all now. So enjoy.
Teamwork, guys, teamwork. What happened?
Floating bubble.
So there you go. That may not be a whole lot to people just listening to the audio, but it was a puppet show of me as Mario stomping Luigi and Toadstool, which was, of course, Robert and his daughter, to death as puppets. Which is not at all what happened, but I guess in their mind, that's how they perceive things. Anyway, Mario for the Wii U is amazing, and it's a lot of fun with people, and everybody should go buy a Wii U. and they should play that. And actually, I don't own a Wii U yet, but I will. I will buy a Wii U before my sister and Matt come up here, because I want to play it with them, especially with my sister, because that'll be awesome. Let's see. So I played some Mario Wii U. One other game. The only other game that I've played in the last 2 weeks, I guess, and this has been a lot, and EVE Online takes a lot of time, and, yeah. The other game that I played, Kerbal Space Program 2.0. So here's the thing about Kerbal Space Program. Not version 2.0, version 0.20. It's still in development. It's not actually technically been released yet. The thing about Kerbal Space Program, here, I'll have my guest host. Hi, Jebediah. Hi, Todd. Oh. So the thing about Kerbal Space Program 0.20 is that it's going to have an update very soon, 0.21. And the 0.21 Kerbal Space Program is not going to work with any save files from before it, which means that everything I've done in Kerbal 0.20 and before is going to get erased, and I'm going to have to start all over with 0.2 when the new release comes out. And I definitely want to get the new release, because it's going to be awesome. And of course, when I got into the game, knowing that it's still in development, I understood that this sort of thing might happen. So I decided to record myself running around my current save file, just destroying stuff for the fun of it. And so here's some of that footage. So I built a spaceship that had a missile on it. Now, in Kerbal Space Program, there's not actually any sort of missile system. It's a peaceful game about trying to fly spaceships to the moon and stuff. But I basically took a spaceship, and out in front of it, I attached I put a decoupler. And then on the other side of the decoupler, I put a solid rocket booster, the smaller one, not the smallest one, the Sepratron, the middle-sized one, I guess, the Mama Bear solid rocket booster. Because solid rockets, once you fire them up, there's no way to shut them off. So I took that one, and I attached some wings and a nose cone to make it kind of look like a missile, and flew it up to my space station, which I was very proud of. The space station is cool, but the problem with the space station anyway is that there's so many parts and stuff that it makes the game crazy jerky. So anyway, I fired the missile at the space station, and it was very satisfying. The rocket did fly out and explode. When it crashed into the space station, it did explode. It didn't blow up the entire station, but it blew up some stuff. It blew up a part of the space station. It left a wonderful pattern of debris of solar panels and pieces and parts just kind of floating around in space. That was actually pretty awesome. It was a lot of fun. So firing the missile was a lot of fun. But, I had to build a spaceship, and I had to fly it up there, and it only had one missile, and it didn't blow up the whole space station all by itself. So instead of going to all the trouble of launching another spaceship and building another missile or whatever, after that I decided to blow up the rest of the space station by using something they introduced in, I think, the last patch called Whack-A-Kerbal. Whack-A-Kerbal lets you just take spheres, or you could make them cubes and other stuff too, when you just shoot them from where your camera is. You just chuck spheres at whatever you're pointing at. And so I just started throwing a bunch of spheres, throwing a bunch of balls at my space station, and it hit stuff and it exploded stuff, and it was awesome. Now, bear in mind that I spent hours and hours and hours building the space station. The space station was probably 6 or 7 different components that I had to build, and build rockets to fly the components up into space, and spent a lot of time painstakingly docking all of these individual parts together to form the space station. So it took probably 10 or 20 hours to build a space station, and for some reason it was wicked fun to destroy it, even though I was destroying all that hard work. But, of course, I couldn't just leave it at that. After destroying the space station, I went around, I kind of went on a tour of my Kerbal solar system, especially Minmus. I basically built a colony on Minmus. Minmus is the second moon of the actual Kerbal system. And so there was a lot of stuff on Minmus to whack a Kerbal with. And I hit actual Kerbals. I chucked balls at actual Kerbals, and that was fun. But I also chucked balls at spaceships and vehicles, rovers on Minmus and stuff, and they all exploded with a very satisfying boom and flew up into the low gravity up above. One in particular that's in the video, or was in the video a moment ago, was a rover with a really bright headlight on it, and after I exploded it, part of the ship and the headlight flew up in orbit, and the light just kind of passes over the ground as it rotates around. It looked really awesome. So yeah, I don't fully understand why I had so much fun. I guess it's like building sandcastles, right? You know, when you're a kid, you spend an awful lot, well, even as adults, you spend a lot of time and effort and energy building a sandcastle. But then when the tide comes in, it's kind of fun to watch the tide wash away and destroy all that hard work that you put into the sandcastle. Destroying stuff in my Kerbal game was sort of the same thing. And, you know, then I flew to Duna, and I took the spaceship that had landed there. You know, I'd spent a lot of time building and constructing and flying the spaceship. First it landed at Ike. We planted our flag at Ike, the moon of Duna, and then we flew from Ike to Duna and landed there and planted the flag there. And then now I decided, hey, why don't I go take that ship? It still had some gas. I will pick it up and turn it over and immediately fly it directly into the surface of Duna and just explode it. Completely ridiculous and absurd thing to do, and incredibly satisfying. I spent so much time on Kerbal Space Program trying to do things that are very hard, and having them explode on accident. I don't know. It was cathartic. It was fun to blow it all up. So anyway, there you go. I guess that's about the end of the show. That's all I got. Those are the video games I've been playing, and yeah, been having a lot of fun. So doing this podcast as a video podcast has been a ton of fun, and 2, so much work that I'm probably not going to do a video podcast again, not for a long time anyway. I've wanted to do video for a long time, and I've had a lot of fun making the Kerbal videos, and I've had a ton of fun making this podcast episode for you guys as a video one, and it's awesome, and I had a blast. And I would encourage everyone to go to my YouTube channel and watch the video version. But I hope, first of all, I hope that the audio version didn't suffer by making it video. I kind of feel like I was a little distracted by the video and everything, so without the visual, I worry that the audio version of this episode might be kind of weak, and if that's the case, I apologize. But whatever. Number 2, this was so much work that I'm probably not going to make it video anymore. We'll probably just go back to audio from now on and only do that, because really this is a lot of effort. You know, I don't have a professional editing team. It's just me, one dude in a tiny apartment, which you can see now. And I'm very lazy. So anyway, but thank you for listening, and perhaps thank you for watching. And next week I'll try to get back to doing an audio podcast, and try to get back to doing one every week. I missed last week's podcast because I was trying to do video last week, and I had some technical difficulties. And instead of a video podcast last week, I ended up with no podcast at all. So I think hopefully what I'm recording right now is actually going to work and get out on the internet where you can all see it. Otherwise, I've wasted a lot of time talking to myself for no reason. Anyway, so I apologize for that. But yeah, we'll try to get back to just every week a regular audio podcast and get back to normal. But I'd love to hear your feedback, what you thought of the video podcast. Email me at gadgethovel@gmail.com. And, thank you. Oh, here we go. Thank you and good night. See, in the audio podcast, you can't tell. I turned off my lamp. So it got darker when I said good night. Darker. Like nighttime. Also, if you want to watch a little iPhone home video of Robert, his daughter, and I playing Super Mario Brothers on the Wii U, it's going to just stay tuned. It'll play right after the credits. Yeah, I recorded it on my iPhone. It was kind of a home video kind of. It wasn't up to the same level of cinematographical excellence and professional quality that the rest of this episode has been. So anyway, it's after the credits. If you want to watch it, it's after the credits. If you're just listening to the audio, I don't know how much fun it is just to listen to, but whatever. Anyway, it's after my sister tells you how to email the show and stuff. So stay tuned if you want to watch that. Thank you and good night.
This podcast is a production of Gadget Hovel Studios. You can follow Todd on Twitter at Aaron1701, that's ARON1701, or email thoughts and comments about the show to gadgethovel@gmail.com. To read Todd's webcomic or find his other podcasts, or to support the show by donating or buying t-shirts, please visit www.gadgethovel.com. Thank you and good night.
Okay, Robert, you're going to do this level all by yourself.
Right.
While we ride the bubble.
You're going to be in the bubble.
We're right. Okay.
Bubble riders.
Okay, here we go. Let me get a good shot.
The superstar, the star, do this level.
Okay. Yes, the superstar. Who is you? Here we go. I'm just going to ride the bubble. I'm working the camera. I'm not even paying attention. I'm in a bubble. It's all you. It's all you.
Don't even sweat it.
We can't sweat if we're in a bubble.
Why could you not sweat just because you're in a bubble?
It's nice and cool in there.
Well, there's no air
Well,
circulation.
it's cool in mine.
We're trapped inside
there
a bubble.
There has to be air circulation.
There's no.
Breathing.
Well, I think actually, if this was a realistic game, we would suffocate after a little while.
Well, it's not.
Wow! We bow before the master. Wow. Yep.
Let's reenact what we first did.
You came so close.
That was further than what happened last time.
Was it? Is that our new record?
Why don't you illustrate?
Okay, my turn.
Power the blue badge.
My turn. Push play.
Okay, so I'm going to be in the bubble. You're going to beat the level while Robert and I are in the bubble.
Yep.
Okay.
Dad's gonna live in the
Bubble
bubble.
riders.
Okay, you heard that, right, Robert?
I heard it.
I'm working the camera, so all I'm doing is hitting A, and
move out of my way.
and move out of your way, which is what I do even when I'm playing the game. You know, like if we farted inside the bubble, there's no way to get fresh air in there. We're just gonna have to live with our fart.
I don't think so.
There's no air circulation. If you poke a hole to get some fresh air in there, you're gonna pop the bubble. I think ultimately living in a bubble is a bad idea.
Oh man.
Well, the guess.
Look out! Don't pop my bubble! Ah! Okay, I'm bubbled. You're good. Continue to play without our interference. She's doing really well. Look how much farther she got than you did, Robert. You think I'm joking? I'm serious.
It's like 6 inches later. That's all.
6 inches? She's way farther than you got. She's gonna... Oh, are you gonna get the big coin?
I'm gonna try. It could kill me.
The big coin is safe. The big coin won't kill you.
I'm not gonna get it. I have to
You have to get on the top.
You can do it.
To the right. I know this.
He's right. He's right.
I've been through this level.
You're jumping on my head.
It's okay. You can do it now. Yes, you did it. Hey, that was good advice, Robert.
How about the person that's playing is doing it good? How's that?
No, yes. Robert had good advice, and you had good execution. Everybody gets credit where credit is due, and I'm doing an amazing job not farting inside my bubble, so I can continue to breathe fresh air. This is tricky. There you go.
Looks so tricky. See, I've taught her patience.
Dad.
You popped my bubble! When did you teach anybody patience, Robert? You have to learn patience yourself.
How'd you get out of your bubble again?
Oops. I'm bubbled. Come on. She's gonna beat this whole level. No. She's got the fire. The fire in her belly. Oops. Bubble.
Good. Fire good. Ah!
She's gonna do it. I'm telling you.
Whatever you do, Hunter, don't bubble.
There's a big.
Oh!
I said don't bubble.
We're all in bubbles. You can't bubble if we're all in a bubble.
You can't do
Okay.
that.
Okay, here, you work the camera. You guys bubble. I'm gonna try. Well, you guys are bubbled.
At least you got the halfway mark.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, do you know how to work the iPhone? It's recording right now.
Oh, is that what this is? I thought you were taking pictures.
If you need it, if you have any questions.
I got it.
Okay, I am a computer repair
I
technician.
got it.
So, okay. There we go. You guys bubble and just stand back. Watch how a professional does it. Okay. First of all, you have
Professional is wearing the red hat, right?
you have to study the situation, analyze what's happening.
Why'd you knock me out?
You don't want to just go running ahead without thinking about.
See, you even know that I'm riding the bubble, and you still hit me out of the bubble.
Robert, that's because you're. I have complete confidence in your ability to get back in the bubble and avoid.
You know, if you beat this level, it's because I got you halfway there.
Oh my gosh! So you opened the lid.
Dad, am I right?
Yes.
You loosened
I
the lid.
loosened the pickle jar lid.
On the pickle. I don't even like pickles. Why am I trying to get it on?
Oh, here's where you're gonna die.
I'm not gonna die. I'm good. See? I'm good. Everything is coming up, Todd. Whoa! Bats! Go! I'm good. The important thing is not to panic. Remain calm.
You were just panicking.
So that... No, what you heard was thinking out loud. Very quickly and loudly. That's not panicking. Look at this. Oofda. I am on a roll. Whoa, okay. Oh, good. Still alive. Damn bats. That would have been a good big coin to get, but I don't know how to do it. Probably you can't do it with fire flowers, my guess. But that's okay. Ladies and gentlemen. Do you want me to pop your bubbles so you can cross the victory line? Nope, that's okay. Success!
You could have got the last coin.
You're welcome. I have just won the level.
With our help, you're welcome.